Hi, I'm Barry Anderson with Barry Anderson Studios, and today I was going to talk about which camera system that you shoot with is going to be better. Which one do you think? Do you think a Canon or a Sony would be better? Let me ask you this. What about a Nikon and a Canon? Wait a minute. But what about a Pentax medium format camera versus a Canon 50 megapixel camera? Now, I know these questions are really kind of arbitrary, and the reason I asked them is because I was trying to point out how arbitrary it is. In the digital world, we have become very, very spoiled. I have a Nikon D600, and it has 24 megapixels, and its capabilities are outstanding. I mean, compared to film, it can do things, it can render an image clearer than anything else. It can print to the size of a large format or medium format camera back in the film days. Um, so I was reading some reviews on like the Pentax 645Z, and I actually shot it, did like a test shot at the correct exposure at 1600 ISO, 1600 ISO, and I looked at the picture that I took on my D600 and compared it, and it was not nearly as good. The Pentax did not match up to the capabilities of the D600. And what I'm trying to get at, I guess, is what are the, I don't see really today, maybe except for sync speed, which maybe I'm perhaps naive in saying this, but if you can sync a camera to 1600th of a second, I'm sure with that amount of money that you spend on the gear to get that kind of sync speed with a camera, you can spend it on a DSLR and still get a sync speed comparable or even faster with the amount of money you will be spending on lights to get that kind of capability. And again, I might be naive on that point, but as far as image quality, it seems piffle to me that any camera that shoots at like above maybe 24 megapixels, I'm just shooting that out there. It seems piffle to be getting a medium format digital camera that can't really shoot above 400 ISO that you can take in and out of the studio, by the way, to use in your anything that you shoot. I'm always a proponent of using the tool for the job, but at the same time, like a 35 millimeter frame and a medium format film frame, both of these, I'm comparing film here. There are size differences and quality differences between the two, and that's the appeal of buying a medium format over a 35 millimeter uh, um, 35 millimeter camera that shoots with film. And that's exactly my point. With the digital medium, it's become kind of an equalizer in the sense that, well, the Pentax 645Z might have a bigger sensor technically, which isn't by much anyways. But for argument's sake, it is bigger than a 35 millimeter full frame digital sensor because it's equal to a 35 millimeter frame. But if you look online, if you look on a print, if you look on Facebook, who's going to know the difference between that, what was shot on that Pentax or on a camera like mine, a Nikon D600? When you print it as big as, I mean, when you can print it so large in the digital age, it just seems really like if you're looking for the um, advantage, I can't seem to really find one. I mean, maybe some people can write comments on this at the comment section in the comment section down below. But I guess the other advantage to having a studio camera back in the film days was you had the ability to tilt, shift, and swing. The Hasselblads have a leaf shutter, so you don't have to you don't have to mess with a lot of other functions with the camera. You had mirror lockup mode and so on that wasn't available for a while. That kept the camera steady on a tripod. You know, all those things are advantages to having those cameras. And the Pentax 645 really doesn't seem to have any kind of like tilt, shift, and swing abilities any more than you can adapt a DSLR to it. So again, like those were the advantages to having a studio camera versus having a camera that you could, like a 35 millimeter or medium format that you can swing around your neck and walk down the street and take pictures. So what I'm getting at is like that line between what's considered a studio camera and what's considered your carry-around camera that you would take outside and shoot in storms that has comparable capabilities. That line's been broken. And I'll tell you what too, as the digital sensors get bigger in camera, in phones, cell phones, and as the technology progresses, the image quality gets better on those cameras, guess what? I don't see a need for these digital SLRs or these digital medium format cameras. You know, eventually there's going to be a day, and mark my words, there will be a day when you can sync your cell phone to a freaking strobe and shoot at 4,000ths of a second. That day will be here if it's not, you know, already being developed right now. So at that point, it's not going to matter. It's not going to really matter what you shoot with, so long as it produces a nice image. And I guess that's the point of my talk is like, so long as you get a good image, why do you care what camera you get? You know, it seems like the functionality the digital medium formats versus like the DSLRs that are out nowadays. I mean, again, DSLRs seem to actually be doing better at rendering an image at a higher ISO than any of these medium format cameras. And really, I don't see any advantage. What are your thoughts? Let me know. Talk to you later.